What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 47 of the LARNE project here in Football Manager 2019. Today, we take on Ballymena. It's first versus second. It is January 2022, so a World Cup year on the horizon. Of course, it is going to be in Qatar. And, I will start off this episode by saying if you haven't seen the last two episodes, go check them out. Two massive games for us against Ludogorets and Lille. I think two of the more entertaining episodes of the series thus far. Of course, if you've watched those, minor spoiler, we made it through to the knockout round of the Europa League. Fantastic achievement. I talked about all the teams we could get drawn against. Of course, I didn't even check the Champions League to see which teams finished third in their groups. The team that we've got, Inter. Really excited to play Inter, to be honest. We are going to be playing them in a month's time, pretty much. And that'll be coming your way next episode. A double header there. And at the moment, at least, no league game in between, which is kind of nice, to be honest. Perhaps a chance for us to fully rest our team going into that game. Anyway, of course, today, Ballymena first versus second. We will quickly glance through some of the results that we've just had, but you can see currently we sit 8 points clear at the top of the table, still unbeaten, 12 league games left of the year. It's kind of funny how top-heavy it feels like the Northern Irish Football League season is. Of course, prior to this year, we've never really had a European distraction after Christmas. That is something we are going to have to contend with here. And, right now, Lille, average rating of 7.73, leading the way by a massive, massive margin. The free kick specialist, you can see here, 10 goals, 7 assists in 21 league games. 5 of those off the bench as well, which is really, really impressive. Honestly, probably the standout performer, at least in terms of league games this year. Anyway, with that in mind, let's talk about the results since you were last here. Of course, we beat Lille last time out 1-0. It was framed with that goal. Following on from that, a couple of big scoring wins. I'm not going to show the highlights for these because we'd be here for 10 minutes just watching all the goals. But we started things off with a great win against Berliner Mallard. 4-0 it went in at half-time. I wanted more. We didn't get more, but yes, it was very, very comfortable indeed. You can see here who did get man of the match. It was actually Lille on a 9.0. Simon Carlisle also doing extremely well, though. The 17-year-old. Just improving an absolute ton. It's a shame his determination has dropped to 19. I mean, that really is a first world problem right there. But the rest of him just looks really, really solid. Anyway, the next game we had, if we just look here, was another 4-goal game, at least for us, against Linfield. 4-2 it finished. A few late goals in this game. In the last 10 minutes, we turned things around. But again, statistically, completely in control of this match. Bannon was a big standout performer for us this year. Obviously, or rather in this game. He has been a pretty good performer this year. He has been complaining a little bit about lack of first-team football, which I think maybe it's fair when you compare it to the amount of football that Lille's been getting, but he has been rotated, in and out fairly frequently. There are a few pretty notable teams in and interested in him. And when you compare him to some of our other attacking mid options, he's perhaps not the top dog, and we do have Matt Walker waiting in our under-20s who we could bring in potentially as a replacement. But at least for now, we're going to stick with Bannon, and he was the standout performer there against Linfield. Anyway, the next game was against Glentoran, a team who have caused us problems. Tommy O'Donnell with both goals in this game. We dominated the game from start to finish, playing our rotated 11, but you wouldn't have known it. Excuse me. But yes, just a top performance here. And O'Donnell getting both the goals. A player who really hasn't improved that much over the years. The kind of player who I had a lot of hope and optimism in, a couple of years ago. He's not improved or really changed as a player since then, though, so a tiny bit concerning, perhaps. The next game we had was against Glenavon. You can see here it finished 0-0, a ball draw. 1 shot on target for either team. We had 17 shots in total. Quite how we didn't get anything from this game, I really couldn't tell you. It was just a bad day at the office for both teams, really. The next game against Bangor, a great result, this one. We started off things well, Justin Wright scoring from the penalty spot. They scored a little bit of a Route 1 goal, kind of hit us on the break as we looked to, transition up the pitch. Paddy Scott with a tidy finish for them. Sam Robinson, the right back, an unlikely goal scorer. It took till the 89th minute to get our noses back in front in this game. And, Justin Wright grabbed his second goal of the game. Lille involved in both the goals in the second half, on off the bench. Got an assist for this one, and a tidy little finish by Justin Wright. Perhaps the keeper could have done a little bit better. We're not going to complain one little bit. Anyway, the next game we had was against Dungannon Swifts. You can see that finished 2-0. A few sendings off in this game. We then took on Dergview. 5-1 it finished in the Irish Cup. We're through to the 6th round of that, where we're going to take on Bangor again. And, well, that's kind of that in terms of the league. As you saw in terms of the table itself, we are unbeaten. We have significantly the best goal difference in the league. Not entirely surprising. I expect us to win the league quite comfortably. But great to see us doing it. And I feel like one of the big kind of standout points about this is just the amount of rotation we've done this year. I mean, you look here, in terms of players in double figures for appearances, we're looking at probably 22 players, 25 players. I mean, that's a pretty crazy number. 25 players have made at least double figures for appearances this year, be that sub appearances or starts. And that is just really impressive. The only player who hasn't played a game is a new signing, actually, Alex Roberts, who probably should be down in the under-20s, but a player with some potential for the future. I like the look of this guy a lot. You can see we've actually already set up his training, so let's move him down to the under-20s. But yes, I really do like the look of this guy. In terms of transfer business, of course, it is January. We do have £3.6 million to spend and a significant amount of wage budget. You can see a load of players here who I made some offers for. You can see Mandanda. I tried to loan him. People have asked what's happening with Mandanda. You can see here, playing for Benfica. He's made a handful of appearances on off the bench for them this year. Not really done a whole lot for them. Tried to loan him in. Didn't want to come to us. Decided that we weren't worthy of his presence. It broke my heart just a little bit. But yes, just going back to the players, you can see I was looking at signing a few players from Brighton, Arsenal. These were all youngsters whose contracts were expiring. I was going to take a punt on a few of them. They all then decided just to sign contracts back with the clubs they were already part of. So this plan to bring in, some Premier League youngsters who perhaps have been deemed not good enough for their current teams kind of fell flat on its face, which was a bit of a shame, really. Had I known these players were all going to just change their minds and turn me down, I might have offered them a little bit more money to see if I could swing them. But yes, it is just one of those things. We are still on the lookout. I feel like with us reaching the Europa League group stage, and indeed the knockout rounds, we've kind of made ourselves a slightly more attractive proposition, perhaps. So maybe we can find some players. You can see here, this was the filter I was using in terms of players whose contracts are expiring in 6 months. We'll keep an eye out, see if anyone of real note comes available. At least right now, I feel like most of the players who I maybe had a vague interest in have since signed new contracts. But you know what? We'll see what we can do there. Anyway, we're going to get into the game against Ballymena. It's a big game for us. In terms of team news, I think we're going to go with our strongest 11 here. And that does mean taking out Bannon for Glendining. I already know people are going to want him. I had Glendining follow me on Twitter this week. A little bit scary that it's come to this. But yes, he's been kind of a surprise package. I feel like this year he's done very well, particularly in Europe, in those big games. That's really where he's come up clutch. And, well, he's in the process of signing a new contract at the club, if I'm not mistaken. Indeed, he is. That contract, just so you know, he's only on £300. He's one of the low earners at the team. He's about to become, I think, the 5th highest earning player with about 2.5 grand, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. I will just say on the foreign players we've signed, just as a little bit of a synopsis, Lotta, so far, a little bit underwhelming, but within our tactical system, the more defensive centre mid always just tends to get lower average ratings in the FM19 match engine. Lucas Gran in goal, been playing a lot of games in terms of as our rotated keeper. You can see he's played 10 games in the league and kept 6 clean sheets. His Champions League appearances came at his previous club. And, well, the Cyborg, I've got to be honest, has been the pick of the bunch. He was perhaps the player who I was the most sceptical of when I signed him, felt I may have overpaid. 11 appearances, a 7.44 average rating for him. He's improved an absolute metric ton as well, and you can see a big pro that's become of him is the fact he's consistent, something that my scouts didn't pick up. I didn't know if he was consistent or inconsistent. Looks like we might have struck gold with him, and to be honest, he's been putting in some great appearances at left back. You can see we're also training him to play right back. I feel like he could be that great utility man for us to have, perhaps even a starting right back down the line in on his left foot. But anyway, he's not going to feature today. He is part of our kind of rotated 11, and it's very much a case of let's get the best team out for the job. And this is the team we're going with. In goal, Jared Thompson. Kieran Kane at left back, of course, ahead of the Cyborg. Northern Irish International, fantastic player. Very unhappy at the moment because he wants to leave, and I've told him he's not going anywhere. There's a few players like that. McCoy and Morrison at centre-back. We will go through all the players here because I feel like it's worth just having a little update on how they're all progressing. They've kind of really forged that partnership as our starting centre-backs, have performed superbly this year. Sam Robinson at right back, again, kind of has locked down this position in his side. Really, really like the look of him as well at right back. In terms of centre mids, we're going to go with Captain Fantastic Jim Meister in that more defensive midfielder role. As I mentioned, the average ratings for that player just tend to be a little bit lower. We go with, alongside him, the hero from our previous Europa League game against Lille, Keith Frame. And then it's kind of a fairly standard attacking midfield setup. We're going to go with Kenny Dixon out on the right. Lille is going to start the game out on the left. I've actually dropped Paul O'Connor in recent games because Lille has just been performing better. Up top, we are going to go with Justin Wright, who has signed a new contract at the club, if I'm not mistaken, with an optional 3-year extension. I am absolutely ecstatic about that. Love the look of this guy. Technically not the best player, but he's improved a lot, and he's just a very well-rounded, versatile forward, which is ideal for that lone striker role. On the bench, we've got options as well. We can call upon them if we need them. Let's see how we get on here. I feel like, despite how dominant we've been doing in the league, after a bit of a slow start where we did draw a number of games in quick succession, I will blame that mostly down to the fixture congestion. We've kind of reasserted ourselves, I feel like, as comfortably the best team in Northern Ireland. In the league, we're actually unbeaten in, I think, coming up to 60 games across the last 2 years, which is an absolutely crazy achievement. Hopefully we can keep that going here. Dixon hits the woodwork. McDermott kind of reacts a little bit after the fact to stop the rebound from going in. But, well, a slightly promising start, I guess you could say there, with the woodwork being hit, but that doesn't really count for anything. We need to be finding the target, and while Frame wins the ball high up the pitch here, goes back to Jim Meister, Captain Fantastic, what can he do? Goes to Frame, Robinson's on the overlap. Can Jimmy Boy pick him out? Of course he can. Robinson gets tackled. Frame, though, in a bit of an unusual position for him out wide. Goes back to Robinson. We could work this inwards. It's the Glendining show in the centre, of course. Jim Meister now with it. Goes all the way back to McCoy. They are playing with 2 strikers. And you can see they were marking our 2 centre-backs very high up the pitch there. Lille, what a tackle that is. That's why he's come into the team for Paul O'Connor recently. Frame, edge of the box, deflected. Second time of asking. Narrowly over the crossbar. That was a decent effort from him. Unfortunately, not on target. And, well, we're yet to find the target in this game, despite all the chances we've had. Maybe a chance for another one here, though. We've started the game, definitely the better of the 2 teams. Not dominated possession as much as you might expect, but, well, we've been dispossessed in an awkward position here. Scott bringing the ball forward, goes to McMurray. Nice little 1-2 between them. Options in the middle, it's going to be McConkey. They've got a man over on the left-hand side. Lille, wake up. Lille, get left side. Come on, Lille. Imagine if in FM you could just click on a player and, like, as if you were shouting at them and telling them to get back. That would be interesting. Don't think it'll ever happen. Right, though. Can he do things right? Holds up the ball well. Frame down to Glendining. Have a go, Myson. Glendining. I mean, the fan club were almost on their feet. They were almost having a party. I almost want to get Glendining badges, you know, for the fan club to wear. I feel like at this point they're required. He has kind of just become an inexplicable fan favourite. I mean, if you are a Glendining fan club member, why do you like him so much? McCoy. I mean, we need to defend this here. This is a bit last ditch. This is a bit panicked. The shot goes wide of the mark. Ballymena, though, showing that they're capable of having chances of their own in this game. Robinson to Glendining. There he is again. To Dixon. Out wide. Goes to Robinson. Crosses it. Back post. Lille is lurking. Hits it on the volley. Cool, calm, collected, composed. That first time finish. Delightful on the volley. The header by McKeown. Questionable, really. I feel like you're taught from a young age as a defender, if in doubt, you know, get it out wide. Don't head it back into the danger area. Actually didn't even need to touch it really low. Lille reacted quickest. And, well, a tidy little finish for him. 17 league goals for the season from left mid. I mean, Paul O'Connor's got like 3 in that time for the record, playing the same position. At this point, I'm beginning to think it's Paul O'Connor who's the problem rather than Lille. Anyway, right, bringing the ball forward here. Lille, the man of the moment, the big man on campus, the head honcho, cuts inside, surely not. McDermott says no, not this time, Lille. Parries it out wide, no chance of a rebound. He's on set piece duty now. Can he turn assister? Can he turn provider? Back post, of course he can't. I mean, I thought he was about to do it. Morrison's headed wide. He probably should have hit the target. In fact, he definitely should have hit the target. It was a poor header in the end. I'm a little bit concerned that the longer it remains 1-0, the longer there is a chance they could get back into this, because they have had opportunities. Glendining, edge of the box, tries to pick out Lille. I say tries because it wasn't the best of efforts. They bring the ball forward. McCoy gets it again being harassed by the two strikers. It's a brave system by Ballymena to play with two attackers. It's looked dangerous at times, but well, we've got a chance here. Little back post. Doubles his goal tally from the right wing to the left wing. Right attacking midfielder to the left attacking mid. Lil is just quickly becoming the best player in the team, which is a little bit surprising. You get it? Little bit Phil Hill, you know? I mean, look how small he is in the match engine. He's like 5'5". What a man. What a man he is. Tidy little finish into that bottom corner. Doubles our lead for the match. I mean, he's on for a hat-trick. He's got an hour to try and find it as well. Morrison, options on ahead, goes to Dixon. Down this right-hand side. Lil is going to be wanting it. Dixon wants it all on his own. Of course he does. Keeper parries it. Would have been, as the commentator says, a majestic solo strike. I feel like for the amount of chances we've had so far in this game, it's a bit surprising it's only 2-0. It feels like it's been a long match in the match engine. Maybe it's just me. Sometimes in FM19 it feels like you just have games where the highlights are long, the chances are regular. This has been one of those. 4 half chances, 1 clear-cut chance. It's still only 2-0 though. And again, you know, this 2-striker system they use, it can cause us problems at the back. Jared Thompson, I mean, get it away to safety. Always paranoid of the keeper, kicking it straight at the attacker. Dixon goes on his own again. Wide of the mark again. How many more highlights we can have of Dixon going on these majestic solo runs with a finish at the end that no one is going to be proud of? 2-0. I'm actually going to do something controversial. Boys, I'm far from pleased. Okay, Lil, I shouldn't have done this. Why did I do it to be controversial? Lil, I've confused him. Keith, come on. Keith's happy. Lil's confused. Just go and get a hat-trick. Lil's quite a basic human being, I feel like. I feel like with Lil, you just kind of sit him down and go, just kick it in their goal, mate. You know, there's no point in going out and giving him over-the-top tactical instructions. Just tell him where the goal is, and he'll find it. That's kind of his business. That looked like a foul from frame that in real life probably would have been a red card as he slide tackled a goal kick. Glenn Dining bringing the ball forward. I mean, he's on his own. Surely not. Surely not. Keeper parries it out. I mean, are our attacking midfielders just having like some kind of competition to see who can score the best solo goal? Have they been, you know, huddled around the dressing room during the week watching Maradona's greatest hits or something with these runs from deep? That's kind of what it feels like it's coming to. Lil, free kick specialist. That was not far away, Lil, I'll be honest. If I hadn't confused him, maybe he would have hit the target. Set piece here, Robinson, throw in. Into the box, going Dining, flicks it on. It's going to be a pen. Lil is going to be on it. I mean, he's probably going to miss it. As I said, he's a basic human being. He knows where the goal is. What am I talking about? Never in doubt. Never doubted him. And I'm not sure about the celebration, but I think the steward next to him appreciated it. Smashes it down the middle. Keeper maybe could have done a little bit better. But, well, we'll take that. You can see we're going very, very strong here right now. Half an hour left, 3-0 up. We can probably afford to make some changes, really. Let's get on Paul O'Connor. Maybe we can get a confidence-boosting performance for him. I want to criticise Glenn Dining, but I'm scared of the consequences. We'll bring in Stevie Pestridge for Dixon out on the right-hand side. You know, 2 players in Pestridge and O'Connor who are very much core components of the first team. They need regular first-team football. It's very easy to forget that with our current squad, I mean, pretty much every player is under the age of 23. And of our best players, most of them are under the ages of 20. You know, it's a lot of 19 and 20-year-olds, really kind of players who still have so much development potential, and game time is going to be absolutely critical to that. So that's another reason behind all the rotation we do, but also why, you know, players like Pestridge and O'Connor, we need to bring on. I mean, there you go. They link up perfectly. The dream change, really, isn't it? Pestridge in on the right-hand side. Lil involved in the game again. Switches the play really nicely. Pestridge, lovely touch. O'Connor, intelligent run across the 2 centre-backs. Wins it at the near post. That was a really nice goal, to be honest. Nice movement in the box. Nice finish. Great ball in. 12 minutes left. I mean, someone get me a martini. Get my deck chair out. I can just enjoy the January summer rays of Northern Ireland. I've never been to Northern Ireland. I feel like that might be evident in the fact that I'm talking about there being sun at this time of year. That header, narrowly wide for Glenn Dining. It would have been good if he could have got it. Lil with the initial ball in, didn't quite make it happen. I mean, 30 seconds left. I want a 5th, please, boys. I admire, by the way, the work rate of the players warming up with 22 seconds left of the game. That is what I want to see from my players. You know, you never know when you might be needed, but it's probably not going to be right now. Can we hold on to the clean sheet? I really hope so. I've got this horrible feeling that we're about to concede in the last 10 seconds. I don't think it's going to happen now, however. Ball out into touch. Throw-in's going to come in. Lil, I mean, he almost had the final touch of the game. It's been the Lil show, really, hasn't it? 4-0. They didn't have a shot on target. We really demonstrated there the golfing class between ourselves and, well, our closest title rivals. You'd say with that, the league should have really just about be wrapped up. 11 points clear. I mean, we can't speak too soon. There is still 11 games left, but given our form this year, given how we performed as of late, it would be catastrophic for us to somehow bottle it from here. And well, with that in mind, we're going to look forward to the Europa League next time out. It's going to be Inter Milan. Get some score predictions down in the chat now for that game. If you get it right, you get a coconut next game. That's what you'll get. I'll give you a coconut next episode if you can guess the correct result today. That episode will probably be coming tomorrow on Tuesday if you're watching this on the Monday as this video goes up. And well, hopefully I do see you guys for it. I will say, a bit of a longer episode today. The match kind of dragged on a little bit. That's always the way with these mid-season games. But I feel like it's important to see just how well we do against our big league rivals. And it was a pretty convincing performance in the end, wasn't it? Anyway, guys, that's going to be all from me today. Let me know your favourite player of this series thus far down in the comments, as well as the score prediction for the games against Inter. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.